meeting to order, if we could, please. First order of business today. Let's just start off by a little housekeeping here. When you make any motions or discussions, please make it loud enough. We have a pinch hitter for a reporter today, and it would be very helpful if she could hear some conversation other than like that. And I will go further. I went to a hearing impaired meeting about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I am reviewing and going to consider some type of hearing devices for this fiscal court meeting room. When we speak up, sometimes the people cannot hear. Austin's one of those folks that sits in the back, and I know you're hard of hearing because you was when you was jailer. I didn't say hard-headed though, Austin. But so I think, and they're right. The hearing impaired group is right that somewhere along the line we probably need to do that, and it's on my focus right now. That being said, the first order of business would be the minutes from the October 17 meeting.
Motion to approve is presented.
Motion by Sam Hutchins to approve. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Jerry Hahn. All approved, say aye.
Aye.
Disapprove? Motion will carry. Next will be your bills list and additional bills list. On your additional bills list, you'll find second payment to Dave Cook Construction Company for the renovations at the Fairgrounds at Samuels Hall. You'll find the radio system upgrades in Chapel and Bloomfield and New Haven on the regular bills list of $21,000. I just point out the big numbers. And then several blacktopping projects in various districts.
I got a little problem with one of them. They've made a little mistake on it, and I've asked them to come back and repair it. And I was really asked Brad to hold it until they repaired it, but I don't know what to do. As long as they promise to repair it, I'm okay with it. But I know if I did a job, I wouldn't have got paid for it.
Well, what it was, what Keith's referring to, there was the thickness was there. We proved that. It was a section that got scaled out where they pulled it. Brad, I think they pulled their machinery out.
Something occurred where and you guys know the story.
Kind of drugs.
Asphalt out, and it needs to be milled out and the section relayed. They have agreed to do that. They have not gotten to that yet. So we're to the point of we need to process the bill or hold it or something.
Well, I would suggest go ahead and pay this bill because we've got a lot of other work they've done.
Well, I think they're reputable enough that they'll stand behind their thing. You know, we got that other problem on that driveway.
On Welch's Lanes, which
Yeah.
is Jeff District, has not been addressed yet. That's correct.
We're fully aware of those.
All right.
Motion to approve the bills and transfers.
I'll make a motion to pay the bills as presented.
And transfers, Bernard?
Yes, sir.
Okay, motion's been made.
Second.
Second by Jeff Lear. Any further discussion? All approved, say aye.
Aye.
Disapprove? Motion will carry. Okay. Next on the agenda, we have two ordinances to deal with today. One back probably, Jeff, 2 years ago or better. Fiscal Court approved an inducement resolution in regards to Heaven Hill Distillery, the Cox's Creek area, building bourbon warehouse. And then on the second one, it was Luxco Distillery doing the same thing out off of Kentucky 245. So once that basically that inducement resolution said, guys, we're in this with you. We're going to move forward with the project. And now it's time to do the actual ordinance, and the ordinance basically is that we're authorizing on Heaven Hill $51,900. 51 million, yeah.
Small difference.
Yeah, small difference, yeah. $900, and for the IRBs, the county does not, we're evading the real estate tax, but we are getting the liquid tax. And that was a trade-off that we made with Jim Beam in years past. We made with Heaven Hill now, and then Luxco, and once you start, it's called the ripple effect. It's hard to get one and not the other. And this year alone, the distilled spirits tax was up about $90,000 for us. And I talked to the school district; they're up about $300,000 in the school district in revenue. So it's been a win-win so far for the community. And at this time, I would entertain a motion to approve the Heaven Hill ordinance on first reading and advertise for a second.
I'll make that motion.
Jeff, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Vernon Ice. Discussion.
Judge, there was one thing, the magistrate asked me earlier if the spirits tax, we don't know what the tax picture is going to be like, but in the lease agreement, I'm sorry, in the memorandum of agreement, if the spirits tax is abolished, the company will make a pilot payment in lieu of taxes. This one says the Bardstown Independent School District. I don't know if we may need to change the language if the warehouse is located within the county as opposed to the city, but.
Luxco's in the city, I think. We just got it back.
One has been annexed in the city, right?
Right. So that pilot would occur if something happens with the spirits tax. Who knows? But I just wanted to.
Maybe we ought to write appropriate school district.
In fact, the term,
We'll come up with language.
the term school district would be better. That's what you used, Jeff, in the
In the head
other
bill.
agreement, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got it. Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
When does this start? Did this start 2 years ago, or is it starting today?
What are you talking about?
This agreement?
This will kick in, we'll close this year, so sometime in December. So it would start in January. The spirits tax will apply, obviously, immediately. Heaven Hill, as fast as they build them, they fill them up, so.
Actual spirits tax is already done.
Right,
It
that's
depends
right.
on when the reporting period, January 1st of every year, just like property tax.
You won't live to see it end.
Why, Mike?
I think so.
All approved, say aye.
Aye.
Disapprove, and motion will carry. That was Heaven Hills. Now we want to do the same thing with Lux Row. Lux Row's bond issue was $35 million. That was our inducement resolution we made. I think now some of that property's also been annexed into the city. Is that right, Jeff? City's annexed that property, but we initiated this and we're going to go forward with it. Entertain a motion to approve on first reading and advertise for a second, same type of ordinance.
Have we got the right to do that since they have annexed into the city?
Yes.
You're acting as issuer of the bond. Obviously, none of the county's money's at risk or anything else.
Yeah.
But you're
We're
the
over
issuer.
the whole thing.
You could be the issuer and even other places aren't even in your county. I know that sounds silly, but that's.
Actually, some counties jointly done bond issues up in northern Kentucky, Boone County, Campbell County.
And everybody wants credit.
Everybody wants to
You
be part of
kicked
the
it off
action.
before the annexation, so, you keep it on your books.
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Sam. There's a second by Jeff. Any further discussion? All approved, say aye.
Aye.
Disapprove? Motion will carry. Thank you for bringing those projects, especially both of them are important, but Lux Row was something that you personally brought to Nelson County.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll see you again. You know how that works.
I hope so.
Okay, next on the agenda, I have a guest with us today. This gentleman I've known 20-plus years, I believe.
Long time.
When you were with a former political, he was the state, not state, but the federal Rep. Ron Lewis's office?
That was Jim Bunny.
Jim Bunny's office, yeah. I dealt with so many people over the years.
I know.
But Jim Bunny, that was back what year, Jim?
Started that in '99. April of '99 is when I started coming around Bardstown, so not quite 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Still.
Very cooperative over the years working with Jim, and then you went to work somewhere else.
After Jim retired, we went into business with my father. Vacuum cleaning elevators on smokestacks. I was an athletics director at my alma mater for a while, and now I'm doing this, and I guess that's why I'm here today.
Why don't you introduce, this is Jim Askins. Why don't you give us a little presentation, what you want to talk about Kentucky Wire Program and your company's role in it now?
Yeah, and forgive me, I woke up about 3 this morning. My legs feel like noodles, so I hope it's not coming anything, so I may not shake any hands, but anyway, just I'll try to get through this best I can. But I know y'all have had BGNs here, been here previously and addressing your court about what they're
Bluegrass
doing.
Network.
Bluegrass Network. And what it is, as part of this, the Kentucky Wire Project, it's the statewide initiative to get broadband access to all 120 counties. And it's a public-private partnership, and I'm on the private side of it. I'm part of the what's called the design build team. Our office is in Lexington, and we
We're designing it, we've designed the project, and we are managing the construction of it. KCNA entered some third-party agreements in different parts of the state, and this is one part of the state they've done that with the Bluegrass Network. So they're doing a lot of where they're doing the construction, but what we will be doing in these areas is there's 8 sites here in Nelson County that the network will be going to, and we will be connecting all of that. We will be testing the equipment, and we have the maintenance agreement on the part of that of the work that we do. BGN will do the maintenance on the actual installation of the fiber, but so, you know, we have the 30-year maintenance agreement on that, so we're going to plan on being around here for a while. What it is that Nelson County, the state is divided up in what's called 6 different rings. And the state will primarily be fed out of Louisville and Cincinnati. So the Golden Triangle is Ring 1A. Ring 1B is Eastern Kentucky. That's where Congressman Rogers secured the initial funding, and Governor Beshear partnered with him to go ahead and take it statewide. Ring 2 is down in southeastern Kentucky. More federal money through Congressman Rogers is attached with that. But Nelson County is in Ring 3. And the project will come down, it'll follow 61 out of Bullitt County. It'll come down to follow 61 into Boston, follow 62 into Bardstown, and then it'll go 150 down into Washington County. But this project, and forgive me if you've maybe heard some of this, but if you have any questions, let me know too. So with the project, you know, the state, what they wanted to do is, besides getting the broadband statewide, they also wanted to get control of all the networks that the different state agencies are on. There's 8 or 9 of them. You know, higher education, corrections, your driver's license, all these different types of departments and agencies, and they're doing that. So they're running it, what's called the last mile to all those areas. The actual construction of what we're doing is called the middle mile or the backbone. We're not going to homes. We're not going to businesses. That's up to each individual community to make those decisions on how to best do that. That's based upon your wants and your needs and your resources. And now, I counted up yesterday, I've covered half the state. I've been to 35 counties so far. Actually had a meeting up in northern Kentucky yesterday. I was in Oldham County last week. But these communities are having meetings, discussions, preliminary meetings, putting plans together. I actually go to Shelby County tonight. But they're talking about, what do they do as a community to take advantage of this? Because guys, ladies and gentlemen, this is it's exciting because, I'm from Kentucky. I was born and raised in the Owensboro area. And this is something that we have the chance to do and be the first at something that's good. Too often in Kentucky, it seems like we're at the top of things you want to be at the bottom of, and vice versa. Well, this time here, this is the first of its kind project in the entire country. Nobody's ever done anything like this before, and we're doing it. I know there's been some negative publicity in the press at different times and stuff, but KCNA is addressing those. We're addressing those concerns, and the project is now starting to take off a little bit better. But what I'm doing is I go around to all my counties. I have a colleague who takes care of the other half of the state, and we just help. We're a resource. We're a liaison. When issues come up in the construction process, I'll be your point of contact here in Nelson County. But with me going around to all these different counties, I can maybe give some ideas, or at least give you contacts of what, or information about what's going on in other counties. How other counties are looking to take advantage of this project. But, in a nutshell, that's really what it is. I can answer any questions or anything that you might have.
If I can interrupt you here, you're going to 11 spots in Nelson County, I believe you said.
2, 3, 4, 5, 8 of them.
Eight spots.
Yes.
And those 8 spots are strictly governmental purpose: schools, Justice Center, the county clerk's office.
Right.
Any
The public library. The library is actually optional for them. All the other agencies, well, the library's optional. The K-12 sites right now, The fiber will be run to those sites, but they will not be connected because of existing contracts they have with other vendors. The state plans on bringing them on board in the future, so it will be run to those sites, but it won't be connected to K-12 sites. But the other sites, that's where it will be run to.
And currently in Nelson County, those sites are already connected to Frankfurt.
Yes.
The clerk's office already connected to another system.
Right, exactly.
Now, that system's a private system, the one that they're connected to.
Yes.
And the system that they're already currently on is a third-party company operating it, no different than what Bluegrass is asking to do in Nelson County. Follow what I'm saying?
Kind of, how can they step on their toes? You know,
It's called
like
private enterprise.
cable TV can only in Bardstown, Spectrum's in my district.
No. Spectrum can come to Bardstown. All they gotta do is ask for us to give them a non-exclusive franchise.
So Bardstown can go to New
Bardstown can
Haven
go to New Haven anytime they want to, because it's non-exclusive.
We're building a highway, and it's up to each individual community to build off-ramps and the roads to wherever they want to go. You know, existing and new entities can take advantage of this, public and private entities can take advantage of this. You know, it's just, it's a way to get more infrastructure, because anybody in economic development knows this is as important as your water and sewers and electric and everything else, and high-speed internet broadband access is.
Now, we are very fortunate to have access. The county is probably in the top 20 counties in the state, probably as far as coverage.
And a lot of counties are very fortunate in that regard, but again, you know, with the stuff going on in Frankfurt and other things too, as far as funding issues, this is something that can actually bring up the entire state. You know, I was in the Mississippi River counties a couple of weeks ago, and they have something that's going on down there that is, I know the judge down there is extremely excited about. And you're talking about increasing the tax base throughout all 120 counties, more revenue going into the state, and being able to do more things with that. You know, quality of life, a lot of different things go along with this. Healthcare, telemedicine is something that's advancing tremendously, and that's being used. You know, the education, how many kids, my baby brother's a high school teacher in Davis County, and with everything that's involved now with education, K-12 level, and you know, again, the schools aren't going to be connected, but the people in the communities, the kids, when they're home having to work instead of having to go to McDonald's or something like that to tie into their Wi-Fi. And then higher education. It's just so many things that's associated.
But your main purpose, though, you said, was not to go into homes.
Right, but the backbone, the community.
Kids have the opportunity to do.
Right. That's the thing. I mean, the opportunity, not everybody's going to be able to do everything they want to do. You know, some of them are looking at doing different things in phases, whether they actually run fiber to the homes, whether they do wireless systems. It's just a multitude of different options. Again, public or private, local public and private, public-private agreements. It's just a lot of things that are being discussed right now. Louisville's doing some things with it. I know they're a lot bigger and with more resources, but they're actually installing additional fiber along with this to be able to take it to areas where they don't currently have it, even in Jefferson County. Oldham County last week is talking about running additional fiber with this project to do some things in Oldham County as well. So again, it's in the early stages of it, but it's just, it's something that will impact the entire state. And you know, it's just, there's a lot of ideas out there, but it's just something in Nelson County and other counties as well, that highway is there now. And even with the coverage that you currently have, Dean, I mean, you still, this is additional bandwidth for the future. This is redundancy or a backup for existing companies that are in the area right now, if they choose to tie onto it. If nobody chooses to tie onto it, that's their prerogative as well. But it's something that's there that gives people opportunities and options that currently they do not have.
How do you benefit out of your company?
Design.
Yeah, we designed it, we're building it, and we
So you make so much on each hookup, or?
No, we have nothing. We literally, the only last mile part that we have to deal with are into these government buildings. We're not doing anything with commercial or residential. You know, we don't have our own internet system. We don't have our own cable system. It's just a matter of installing it and maintaining it in the state office sites that KCNA directs us to do, and that's it. I mean, it's just, this is, on the smaller scale, our company has done projects like this all over North America, and have run Google, or fiber for Google Fiber, and other companies as well. But that's what we do. We're not on the last part of it, we're on the construction side of it. We're not on the last mile providing service of it.
Questions?
Yeah, I've got another. How many counties are you in right now?
As far as the network completed, there's nothing completed right now. As
No
far as
counties
any-
at all?
There's work being done in a lot of counties.
All right,
But-
this ring one you're talking about,
Mhm.
you said that's Louisville, all right?
It's a golden triangle, Northern Kentucky, Louisville, Lexington.
So none of them have signed on to this yet?
It's not a matter of anybody, it's a statewide project, the project's going in everywhere. Work is being done in all of those areas. There's like 90,000 poles that have to be attached to. This is like an 85% aerial project, 15% underground, so there's about 90,000 pole attachments that have to be secured. There's approximately 40,000 easements that have to be secured as well. Those are going about 98, 99% without any issues. But, there were some things that early on in the project, as KCNA has noted, that some assumptions were made that just should not have been made when you're talking about pole attachment agreements. But those things now are coming together, and the project now is starting to get going at a good rate.
Why would you come to Nelson County instead of fooling with the bigger counties, Fayette County, Jefferson County? And they haven't signed on yet, but you want us to sign on?
No.
He's already been to several.
Yeah, I've already, like I said, I've been to 35 counties, including Jefferson County. Nobody wants you to sign on to anything. This is, what I'm here for is informational purposes. This network is going in and telling you, as an elected official in Nelson County, what is available, what's coming into your area, and then it's up to you as a fiscal court, as a city, as whoever, to decide if or when you want to take advantage of this. And if you don't, that's fine too, but the network is going in, statewide. So it's not a matter of, I'm not here to sell anything.
Bluegrass Network's the one asking for the franchise.
Right.
You just came here to speak on their behalf?
No, I'm not speaking on their behalf.
He came here to educate us on he's kind of a third-party company involved in the design.
The state contracted us to design and manage the construction of the project and then to maintain it once it's completed. So I'm going around, I'm part of the Government and Resident Relations Department in our company.
He's
So-
educating us today, that's all he said.
That's it. I mean, I'm not selling anything or anything like that. It's just a matter of, I'm informing. That's my purpose of informing, educating, acting as a liaison, those types of things. That's what I do.
What about ring 3, I take it, is the one that's $200 million over budget right now?
No. That's part of what, I actually brought what Philip Brown is the executive director of KCNA, the Kentucky Communication Network Authority. That was the authority that was created by Governor Beshear to manage this project on the government side of it, on the public side of it. But, he talked about, and this was it actually ran in a lot of state papers a couple of weeks ago, and this was dated October 27th. But he addressed 5 misconceptions about the project: stopping the project, eminent domain, it's not necessary, competing with private industry, and it's costing too much money. And, I would just direct you to look at this and read it, and he answers all those questions. It's a $324 million project. The General Assembly appropriated about $30 million. The 2 Eastern Kentucky things that Congressman Rogers had to do with were in the 20s, mid to high 20s. And there were over $200 million worth of bonds that were sold on the private side of it. The group called the McQuarrie Group sold bonds on this project right around $200 million. So there's nothing that's $200 million over budget or anything like that. Now, there's been some delays in the project that the state has had to pay on, but those things are being resolved and construction is ongoing.
What was the state thinking about unplugging then if it's such a good?
That's what, you leave one of those for me, make some copies, please, Jim.
Yeah, I can do that. But no, I mean, it's not, it's been discussed, I mean, there's people.
If it's such a good deal, why was it discussed unplugged?
There's been people that's brought that up, but Mr. Brown addressed that it would actually cost more to shut it down and not have anything to show for it, because contracts were signed, because bonds were sold, so those bonds had to be paid back, interest has to be paid on the bonds, and there's nothing to show for it. It's not a matter of a good deal or anything like that. Contracts have been signed, and again, people are on board with it. There's some people that were concerned about some of the delays and things like that, but all those things are being addressed, and construction is ongoing at this time. You know, why would Bluegrass Network come in here and try to be getting your business and stuff? I mean, it's ongoing. I mean, right, but it's ongoing. It's the construction part of it is. But, you know, again, I'm not here to sell anything, and the company is not selling anything like that. We're just here to manage the construction of it. We designed it, and we're going to be on the, we're going to be maintaining at least the equipment in this area when it's completed.
Any idea how much cost savings you'll be looking at? So the clerk's office is hooked up to a private vendor, schools are hooked up through private vendors, they pay whatever, $100. How much will this program be able to reduce that cost?
That's more of a KCNA question, but what they've been saying is that it's basically just going to be a transfer. They have more control, because all the, you know, that money is going to these private entities now. That money will then, once these different offices go on the state network, that money will then be going into the Commonwealth instead of going to these private entities. So it's basically a transfer. That's how the project, one of the ways the project is being paid for, is that the money that's being paid out right now to these other entities will then be going into the Commonwealth instead of it going to the private entities. Does that?
But if you are a private entity, you just open the door for direct competition with your livelihood, in other words, is what it amounts to, correct?
The state wants control of their net.
They want control of their net. Now they're using third party. Give an example. When we got into the garbage hauling business in 1996 or 7, we had Waste Management picking up our household garbage, but we wanted to control the quality of our service and our future destination, our future pricing. So we got into the garbage hauling business. I'm trying to make a comparison that we can understand here, but it's kind of the similar thing. Now, right or wrong, I'm not going to say that because I don't know the big particulars between the state and how much they're paying for these. They got direct trunk lines, I think, from, you know, I mean, those things. Joe, where's Joe? Prewitt, or Jonathan? Or Joe's there. Those direct trunk lines are very expensive, aren't they?
Right, they're one trunk line at last, and this is a couple years.
This is just local.
But they were running us about $300 a month.
A month. And this is just between the local fire department and the dispatch centers or whatever? And
But you have no idea what they're gonna charge, right?
Is the state going to be able to get their money back?
That's what the KCNA believes it. I mean, you know, that's part, you know, again, I'm on the private side, so we're doing the work as directed by the state, but, I mean, Mr. Brown, you know, I mean, he's emphatic about what the benefits are of this and that the money will be, I mean, that's all part of the rationale of this project even to begin with, is that the money that's how it's being paid for, that's going currently to some of these other entities, won't be going out anymore. It will be coming in and being able to pay for, you know, what the construction part is.
With Bluegrass Cellular having so much involvement in it, they obviously have something to gain. Would you agree?
Anybody that wants to take advantage of has anything to agree. It's a third-party agreement. Cincinnati Bell, Bluegrass Network, and Eastern Kentucky Network all have third-party agreements with KCNA. And anybody that has that type of a business can approach KCNA to be able to be, you know, to have a third-party agreement with them as well.
So the future access of internet is going to be wireless, which therefore would hurt the city of Bardstown, who is in the internet business, hardware. Would you agree that?
No, absolutely not, because this can be tied in. Wireless systems have to get their feed from somewhere. They have to get that from somewhere.
If you already own a cell phone that has a hotspot on it, why would you buy hardwired internet from the city? If they're at your speed, which your speed should be faster, why would you need the city of Bardstown's internet?
That, again, that's a decision, a local decision, an individual decision. This is a network that's being installed to give these options, you know, to give people options of whatever they want.
Jim, I want to interrupt here, we're going to move on. I want to invite Mr. Brown. Mr. Brown has agreed a couple of months ago, scheduling wise, he just couldn't be here. He is the guy that a lot of these questions need to be directed at, as far as the private, you know, the partnership deal. And I want to invite him to one more court meeting. If you'll indulge me in one more meeting. This is about the third or fourth time we've discussed this, Jim, just trying to educate ourselves. Mm-hmm. And the folks with Bluegrass had tried to get him here a couple of months ago, and his scheduling didn't work out, but he's the head guy with the whole state, and he's agreed to come to Nelson Fiscal Court. So I think in order not to burden you with questions that are not really directly related to your company, I think I will try to get him over the next couple of months here.
Can I ask one more question? I'm with Ed Mangler. If you drew a pie, how much of this pie is going to go back to the state of Kentucky? How much is going to go to Bluegrass Network? How much is going to go to your company? And then any other companies that's involved? Do you have something like this to where we could justify if only a fourth of it is going back to the state of Kentucky, and then 3/4 of it is going to you and Bluegrass Network? I mean, I don't see where the state, like Ed said, I don't see where the state's going to ever come out. And you haven't got no charge on nothing what you're going to charge Elaine, or nothing what you're going to charge Joe.
Right, KC&A, like Dean said, KC&A does that, but the other part of it too, besides that, one more thing if I may, you know, that other part of it, you know, the half of the network is going to these state sites. The other half is an open source network and that part of it will be leased. That's another revenue stream. So again, if it's a mom and pop place like it's down in Springfield that they do it, or it's an AT&T or whoever that wants to tie into this, that other half of this network is an open source network that will be leased to generate additional revenue.
I mean, I could start my own internet company,
Right.
basically, with a franchise agreement with them.
Well,
Right.
Bluegrass said they was going to send a 200 strand cable, and they only needed 10 of the strands, so they was going to have 190 strands to do what you're talking about. But they're going to go off your shirt tail and off the state's shirt tail to hook on all these poles for them to gain that 190 more wires or whatever it is. That's a whole lot.
The state, through here, it'll be on this network, will be 144 strands of fiber. Again, other entities are choosing to install additional fibers. But this, I'm only addressing this part of the network, the Kentucky wired part of it. That's all I have to do with it.
Jeff, any questions on the mechanic side of it? We'll move on. Thank you, Jim, so much.
Thank you very much. I don't know a whole lot about it, and I just want to know more about it. But thank you for your answer.
Yeah, I'll spend more time after the meeting, or I'll give you my business card. Again, you know, Judge Watt's going to bring in
We'd like to
Mr.
see
Brown,
that
but-
pamphlet that you got. I'd definitely like to read that.
All right,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Next order of business will be the Sheriff's 2017 amended order settling the salaries and benefits for deputies. Sheriff, you want to give maybe a little explanation why we need this amendment?
Okay, it's basically a mistake on my part. This one sheet, the initial order setting the salaries was,
I think we left off some.
I left off the health insurance,
Health
what I
insurance.
did. You've got to include the benefits on it, and it's a sheet that I have to turn in with the budget. The budget
The front page,
itself,
guys. The front page on the amended amount.
the budget itself is correct. If you total the original budget, excluding the health insurance, it's $947,200. It's been amended to include the health insurance at $1,038,200.
Okay, guys, let's look at the amended order, okay? The amended order states that it should be $1,038,200, whereas we originally approved $947,000. Basically, we did not include the health insurance in that order, and this is just a correction. You would have spent that, we would have approved it at that
The
time.
budget is correct.
The budget is correct. So I need the court to approve the amended order. He has to send this in this statement.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Keith Metcalf, second by Jerry Hahn. Discussion.
Yeah, I've got two of these.
One of them is the new budget.
Last year and one this.
Okay, I got you.
And like I say, man,
I should have put that, I should have highlighted that, Sheriff. When I sent them out to him. Because I dealt with it, I knew it, but I could see it getting.
I should have done both on the same day.
Actually, you're to be commended for getting it done early on the new one.
I'm going to ask a bunch of questions though.
All approved, say aye. Disapprove, motion will carry. Basically, you just added the health insurance to that cost. And you would have done it back in January of last year, December, January last year. Now, the next one is the annual order setting the maximum salaries for 2018. And then the sheriff's asking us to approve the 2018 budget. So, this budget, last budget was, last year's budget was total
1,700,000, or
1.7, wasn't it? Yeah. And this year, it's 1.70 and some change.
757.
it's $50,000, about
$50,000 total more budget, yeah.
And that represents insurance, benefits, wages,
New employee.
everything,
Retirement.
new employee, whatever.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Entertain a motion to approve the sheriff's 2018 budget. Motion by Jerry, second by Sam. Discussion, I see Jeff's pondering there. All approved, say aye.
Aye.
Disapprove, the motion will carry. Yeah. Thank you, Sheriff.
We get rid of that sheriff, we can save half of that 50, that'd be okay.
Well.
He's retiring anyway.
Okay, moving on. Okay, several months ago, we briefly discussed lawsuits against opiate distributors, and I had concerns about this particularly, and a couple of months went by, or several weeks went by, and then I was able to see the 60-minute article on 60 Minutes about the distributors blatantly not only violating some of the laws of the land. Of course, they lobbied and got the FDA, Food and Drug Administration, to back off on some rules and regulations. And I don't know where it is at the Washington D.C. level, but basically, if you remember the 60-minute program, it said a little town there in West Virginia, right on Kentucky line, had probably less than 700 people in population. That one pharmacy had ordered over 9 million opiates in 1 year, and funneled those out to other pain management centers and other. And I'm paraphrasing a little bit now from the article, but and they gave several examples of that happening. And the pharmaceutical companies, the distributors are supposed to report that to the Food and Drug Administration in Washington, D.C., and failed to do so. And I don't know, I think they got fined. I don't think it was in the big picture, it was a lot of a fine, but our community has suffered greatly from the opiate epidemic. Not only at the jail cost, the ambulance cost, the police cost, but more importantly, above all those costs, is the families that have been affected that are dealing with these addictions, and making the availability of these pills much easier and much greater. Sheriff, you've dealt with it. You've given me some stories over the last couple of years of how you have seen it happen, and you actually tried to call their hand on it a few times, but it didn't work out. But I applaud you for that effort. Maybe when you retire as sheriff, you'll have something to do. You'll fight it. You'll fight it. So I'm asking the court to authorize us, the Nelson Fiscal Court, to enter an agreement with there's a list of attorneys we can use through CAECO, that we could enter an agreement to sue these distributors and hopefully get some funds to return back to the community. And in particular, jail costs and those other costs, we deal with that, but in particular, if we were able to get some money, maybe put it to good use in some type of restitution, some type of rehabilitation for the families that are dealing with this. And it would be, yes, sir, Austin.
And the question, in order for somebody to get these drugs, don't they have to go through a physician assistant?
But see, what was happening in Austin, these distributors were sending them to pain management centers that were in cahoots with the distributors and the system. Follow what I'm saying? So if I ever get a chance, I'll try to, I'd love to have that video of the 60-minute show and show it here at Fiscal Court. Maybe I will do that one day.
It's very interesting.
Very, very, it really opened my, I was so angry after the episode. If half of it, if 30% of it was true, it would make you angry.
I guess if we make it hard enough on the distributors, then they can in return sue the true criminal in this, which is the manufacturer.
No, the manufacturers, the distributors are the ones that are charged with putting it out to the system.
The manufacturer is just as guilty. The man that makes the cigarettes just as guilty as the rest of us. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's.
I know, they cut a deal.
I don't know.
What's your opinion on this, Patsy?
I would agree. I mean, I think the county certainly has losses that should be presented.
I agree.
The firms that are doing it on a contingency basis. It's nothing my office could handle. I mean, it's beyond our expertise. But it is something that, wouldn't be that much of a financial expense. There will be time that the county will have to, put in to prove up its damages, but they certainly need to be presented.
Can we compile a list of our losses? That's going to be the big thing.
I've already started thinking about that process, Sam, because that may come down to play. But what could happen, it could be a joint venture where everybody comes together. We'll get into that. We'll get into the weeds there when we get down the road. But I would recommend to the court, in fact, I would entertain a motion to approve, enter into a lawsuit with the distributors.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Bernard. Is there a second? Second by Jerry. Further discussion?
How many counties are in right now?
36 have already signed on. All approved, say aye.
Aye.
Disapprove? Motion will carry. Thank you all. Next would be Extension Board appointments. 2 appointments to be made. You guys have a copy of that in your the orders. You got the letter from there, then you got the orders related to it. Usually the first name on the list is the one that are willing to serve immediately. So I would ask the court to approve Rachel Briney and Sherry Frazier to the Nelson County Extension Board.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Motion by Jeff.
Second.
Second by Sam. All approved, say aye.
Aye.
Disapprove? Motion will carry. Thank you all. Next would be Northeast Nelson Fire District deed. Back before I became judge, the county, through CAECO, helped secure a loan for the Northeast Nelson Fire District firehouse when they built that firehouse. And when they paid it off a few years ago, I failed to get the property transferred back to the Northeast Nelson Fire District, which, by the way, is a taxing district, and they have the right to hold deed to a property. There's a resolution that was should be in your mailbox.
I didn't get that.
Did you get that?
No.
I failed there, didn't I?
Yes.
Basically, you've heard me explain it. I'll let you pass that around then. Basically, you're authorizing me to transfer this property back to Northeast Nelson Fire District. Jerry, that's in your district.
It's the same thing. We just took
We didn't do
ownership.
anything like that to the water tankers or
Yeah.
something. So,
Same thing we're doing.
Okay.
New Hope, we're doing their.
when their fire truck is over, well,
Yeah.
actually on theirs, all we do is do a release on the mortgage on that, which is not in our name. I need a motion to authorize the judge to sign the deed and transfer the fire station back to Northeast Nelson Baptist. Motion been made by Jerry Hahn. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Sam. All approve, say aye. Disapprove? And motion will carry. I was remiss on that, so next time you guys see something on the agenda that you think there should be a document, let me know, because I did miss that one. Next will be give you a little report on the progress on World War I and Korean War Monument in your mail, media in your mail. There's a list of, after researching this for several months, a list of Nelson County citizens in the Korean and World War I that I have identified through the state websites and other sources. So last time when we did the World War II, you guys did a story on it, listed the names for us. That was a big asset because we found several additions. So if you wouldn't mind helping me put this out to the public, and are there any additions or corrections on any of those names, it would be appreciated, because it's going to take months to go through this, but I'm not going to be in any hurry. We got a spot out here eventually when we try and get that.
Out here?
Yeah.
Same spot?
Yeah, actually down where the other trash can is down there. And that would make, I've got a design being worked for you guys to look at one day. It'd be in next year's budget probably, but I want to continue to work forward on it. It was pretty interesting, the World War I and Korean War. I guess United States entered World War I a little later than usual, and our casualties on World War I was much less than it was in World War II. I think there were 76 out there on World War II. How many are there on? How many are there? I forget.
World War I?
1, 7, 8. Yeah. One's too many, that's for sure. So any help from the public would be appreciated. Road Department report.
Okay, so we've stopped mowing with bush hogs based on input from you guys. So you guys know, and I think you all understand how we start. You know, this past year, Keith, we started in your district, and so how it rotates is clockwise throughout the county. Next year, Bernard, we'll start in yours, and we just start going through again.
They did an excellent job.
Yeah, so Mother Nature helped out a little bit with the cold weather and knocked stuff down. So now we are boom mowing every day, unless something breaks down. Jeff, we're in your district right now, today we're on Motley Mill. I think we got 2 or 3 roads yet to finish out in your district as far as your list, and we'll continue to knock them out one at a time. Snow, we put all, I know this is the odd thing talked about in November, but we've already put our spreaders on. Dean, you saw some purchase orders come through and some repairs on some stuff. Today, I had a crew that they're doing all snow plows. We're actually getting 3 trucks ready to go completely. And they'll be, if something silly happens, you know, we'll be ready to roll on that. Grader crew, we're completely done with hot mix patching. We've done Hilton, Potter Shop, and Corman's Crossing this past week. We're trying to chip seal as weather allows. You know, it's just the rain. It has to be dry when we do it. It's just so. We got to finish up Petersburg, and we got Hardin, Lezo, Ledane, Sanders, Pasco Battle, Cecil Ridge. We're not going to get them all. We'll get what we get, and we'll save the rest for next year. We're doing Rock Shoulder and Keith. We did partial on Patton Road. We do that as weather permits. When it gets this wet, we can't do it. It's got to dry up a little bit, so we'll do some clipping shoulders and whatnot. Hauled some concrete for John and them out there the other day. Various trees, Woodside Drive, we did some grade work, Shoemake Lane, across drain, Whiteside, some entrances. Did a ditch out at Dean Watts Park that's been neat. I don't know if you've seen that yet, Sam.
Looks good.
You know, we had originally talked concrete, and we were going to try this riprap and see how that works, and see if it'll help the situation we had out there. The bridges, for you guys that don't see it, I know the 2 magistrates on Higdon Loop, we've assigned the change order to where we are going to purchase the beams ourselves, and so that project has come along. Hugh Ice Loop burn, where we're at with that is just getting these inserts figured out for the water line, a little more detailed, and it's very specific. There's a water line that hangs off the existing bridge, Well, the new one's gonna have it under it instead on the side of it, so we're working those details out. Plan is to get these done this winter. We'll see how that works out. So, that's about it really, guys, unless you guys got
Quick
anything.
question.
Yes, sir.
They left the bridge on 150, did you see that?
That would be, Judge Watts. I don't know.
Central, Bridge Outlet, yeah.
4.3 or something million.
So so when you just say bridge, it's bridge and some road work.
From what I
And ramps,
understand,
and
it's
ramp
from
work.
the on and off ramp on each side.
Correct.
And the bridge itself. Yeah.
Good.
But it's considerable under what was estimated. I think it was estimated at about 6.
Okay.
So it's come in quite a bit under what they had anticipated.
When will construction start?
I'll get you a
From
detail
what I
on that.
understand,
Sure, they're reviewing the bids
yeah.
right now. They got to make sure everybody's
Okay.
on
Yeah.
apples for apples. Yeah.
So.
Landfill solid waste report, John.
It's just starting to be that time of year. It's wet, it takes a while to dry out. Thanks for Brad helping out hauling concrete to get our access road back to the landfill face. Bernard, you mentioned added strobe lights to the top of the truck. We got one fitted up with that, and we're working to get the rest of it as time permits. Joe Prewitt put the radio in our new compactor. Thanks for him for doing that. Finished up the last part of the notice of intent for the landfill expansion, so I should get that submitted the next couple weeks, and then once we get that, start on the next 2 phases. Samuel's Hall update with that's come along pretty nice. We've got the stone on the front of the building, got the metal interior, and on the outside, we need big things we need to do, epoxy coat the floor, paint the rest of the outside of the building, and then the back paving. He's gonna do concrete instead of asphalt for the back part of that, but then just finish. He has drywall in the bathrooms, gonna finish putting sinks, toilets, electrical.
I noticed they're been painting the roof. Is that just a silver they're putting on there right now, like a primer?
Yeah, you put one coat of primer.
4 different colors, and I'm just...
Yeah, you put a primer, the first coat's a primer, and then the second coats will be the green color, match the rest of the roof.
Okay. Thank you. Jail report, Dorcas?
Okay, today we have a total of 172 inmates. 4 of these is in Hardin County. We have 1 on home incarceration. We have 52 state inmates. We have 6 weekenders, 1 that's out to court, so we have an in-house total of 160. Now we've got 8 state inmates that we found beds for in another county that they're leaving today. It's not clearing it up much. We're in the process of sealing the shires there. We've got about 6 of them done so far. So far, it looks good. And I mean,
Looks good, but I saw it.
looks like it's going to hold up pretty good. And then we're in the process of getting pricing on 2 more cameras, 2 new cameras for the front of the building.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
Recreation report?
Everything's kind of wrapping up for the year. Football ends this weekend, soccer done, so we're starting to winterize the buildings and get the water shut off to the buildings. Irrigation got flushed out.
28 degrees Friday night, they say.
Are they gonna have games this weekend out there?
Mm-hmm. Football.
I think soccer is.
I was told last weekend's because I've already locked her up. They better get.
I was thinking they were, but
They
I
better
may be
get with
wrong.
me because I've already locked gates up and
Okay.
started working on shutting things down. But
Don't mess with my new assistant.
Where I saw him in the courthouse putting the door up.
He's being assigned to other duties.
I was
In their own
thinking they had
duties.
another game this weekend, but I may be wrong.
I don't know. I'll get with Jamie and keep it on.
Is he a quick learner, Brad?
He's doing well.
He's starting to
doing
feel
well.
like Kroger.
Don't get me wrong, Kroger is
He's got gray
a
hair.
Yeah, a little bit.
It'll come.
By the way, just for a little fun here, we're talking about Kroger, that picture hanging on the wall here with Standard did a story, I took a picture of that the other day. Randy, you did the story on Kroger. I sent him a picture of that, and down the bottom I put on there, gone but not forgotten. So like they do in the Standard for people that passed away. Kroger thought it was funny. But Kroger, I think he's getting a little bored already. EMS report.
Monthly report for October, 560 calls responded to, 124 were non-transport. One of the substations returned to Bardstown 19 times during the month of October for coverage. Little update on the radio system for the law enforcement. Phase 2 completed yesterday morning. Phase 2 was the reprogramming of all the radios in the sheriff's office, as well as Bloomfield City Police and New Haven City Police. I want to personally thank John Hendricks and Dean Vincent from L&W. We got started about 6 o'clock yesterday morning, and we're done about 11:30. As we did that reprogramming, we found various technical radio issues that had to be corrected. As we went through the process, we had to change out 4 radios that were non-compatible, so we're able to take care of all that fairly quickly. The system is turned on, dispatch has been reprogrammed, and I have not, as of yet, heard of any complaints. We shall see. Phase 3 is in progress with law enforcement, and that is installing wireless mics in each of the deputies' cars for their operation, where they can get out of their car and actually use their mobile radio on a wireless mic rather than trying to use their handheld in a lot of situations. That is not to replace their handheld, but it does give them in low frequency areas where they don't have good coverage. The wireless mic will allow them to talk back through their mobile instead of talking through their handheld. So that phase 3 will probably take another 2 or 3 weeks to complete.
Thank you, Tim. Okay, under old and new business, under, I guess this would be new business, let's do I've been asked by the WBRT, WOKH folks to invite the magistrates to participate. Maybe it's Qantas too, I think, I can't remember all the Qantas involved in the parade. Magistrates participate in the parade in some form or fashion. So I relay that to you. I'm going to be I'm usually in the parade itself, but they're trying to get the city council and the magistrates involved. So if you want to put you guys on a hay wagon or something.
What day is it?
December the 7th on a Thursday evening. It usually starts at 6. Under that same category, the last couple of years, as you know, we had several projects on 31E North Louisville Road that required some name changing in order for the addressing to fit into the dispatch center's ability to get to law enforcement, police, and fire to the people's houses, because the road was chopped up in several sections. We have a guest with us today, Mr. Thrasher. Don been very patient with us on this. Thank you for that, Don. And there is a statute. I think I don't know. I think I put a copy in the mailbox.
Yes.
Of that statute. And when we started doing this process, I questioned the ability of who actually names a county road, who names a city street, and after researching it, I think it's Don. I think it's probably up in the air about the authority that a judge has to do that. I'm open for debate on that. Maybe not particular at this time. I want to do some more research, but the statute that I have is 179.330, and mostly we've been naming the private roads, but in this particular case they're public roads, and Mr. Thrasher had questioned the validity of the county judge to name state roads. So on the last sentence of section 2, that's where I interpreted that, you know, somebody's got to take a leadership role somewhere. We couldn't find any other statute that says who names a road for dispatching purposes. Everybody follow what I'm saying? So on similar proceedings, an order may be issued designating the name of any unnamed road in the county. Well, it doesn't say any unnamed. It doesn't say any unnamed county road, any unnamed state road, any unnamed city street, or whatever. So we just took that as one category, and there's some folks out there that Don's not the only one. There's some other folks out there that don't like what we had to do. I'm just making you guys aware of it. Mr. Thrasher, if you want to address the court, you're welcome.
Yeah, I think think there are two prongs here. The first prong, obviously, is the question of whether or not, the statute 179.330 clearly states county roads. That's how it's
That's the
divided.
heading, yes.
Right, that's how, and so I think we can't, Mr. Hite will explain to you that you can't do statutory interpretation in isolation. So you can't read the first and second paragraphs of the statute in isolation. You have to take in the account of the entire statute. And I think in Kerry v. Pulaski Fiscal Court, 2013 appellate decision, the fiscal court has to prove what you unilaterally decide. And I think the issue is...
That's where you and I had a little difference on that, but that's okay.
Well, I
And
think
I'm going to further investigate it.
Okay, I just think that there should be some kind of input from the public and the fiscal court in name.
Yeah.
Whether or not, I agree with you, there's a lot of ambiguity with the naming a state highway. I'm talking to the state's councils on that, but...
And you know, and as county judge, I'm also in charge of the state rural secondary roads. I actually get paid a salary from the state rural secondary program annually for overseeing the rural secondary roads like Nazareth Road, Nat Rogers Roads. The $3,800 a year that they read off, and that's actually part of my, pay. So that's kind of all that built into why we did that. I'm open if you find something from the state gives you a letter that says the judge done, I'm open, I'll yield to another source.
Well, regardless, notwithstanding the state's decision or your authority to name a state highway, the fiscal court still has final say. You have to get their approval on what name you picked. And that's what Kerry v. Pulaski says, and that's what it says in the statute.
But that's a little different case, though.
How is that different?
Yeah, we're not going to argue that.
Okay, I won't argue it with you, but I'm just saying, I think ultimately, I think Mr. Hite will agree with me that there's...
But now, Don, and just say that was true. And you think these five guys, in their respective districts, you guys work with all your property owners out there to get your private roads named. And I'm satisfied if I brought an order to the court in regards to this, that I suspect they would have probably approved it.
Well, that's what makes the difference between a dictatorship and a democracy, is there are representatives. So if you can name it, but you have to get their approval on that name.
There's nothing in this statute that says fiscal court has to approve.
What's that?
There's nothing in this statute.
Actually, section 3. Section 3. Section 3.
That's only, I'm not going to argue that right now.
Kerry v. Pulaski.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I think it's a different case. We're not going to argue that right now. But if you get me something in writing from somebody higher up, I will be glad to listen.
It's called the writ of mandamus.
So, anything else, court?
Yeah.
Motion to adjourn?
Yes.
Motion by second by Bernard Ice. All approved, say aye. Disapprove? Motion will carry.
Judge, who's this?
Your assistant made some copies.
Okay. Thank you.